Okay, gentlemen, this one's been a long way in the making. At least 3 of us could get here on time. Obviously, I've known Tryon 12 years, 13 years. I've known you 11, somewhere around there.
Well, we were doing the mathematics earlier. I've known you longer, apparently.
I think so.
You said
I haven't
14,
known you that
15.
long.
Well, I started my last company 2013.
I was there for that.
Yeah. So I reckon I met you 2014. I reckon I met him before I met you.
Yeah. I met you in 2015.
No, we didn't. 14.
Yeah.
End of 14, start of 15. Because
actually-
I had a
something
year.
like that.
I had a year with the other broker, and you went to town on him. So the
story's
story of how I met Tryon. So I met Tryon through the Perth network. I needed a new broker. I wasn't happy with my Queensland-based broker at the time. Out of Perth, ended up coming through an agreement through my backers at the time. Heard of Tryon. Tryon was fairly new to having his book at the time. Brand new to having his own book within the family business. And I walked in with about 5 folders, like big stuff, big buying signal right there. You know, we're here to do some business, okay? Here's all the insurance documents, here's all the invoicing. Anyway, go into the boardroom, sitting up there. This guy comes in like a hurricane. Bang, straight in. Start selling to me. Ha. Oh, I know this, I know that. Bang, 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 bang. But I haven't said a fucking word.
Matt Mayer?
Yeah, bang, not yet. Bang, 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 bang.
Wait, there's the best part.
There's the best part. And then I go, yep, okay, what are you doing? Right, okay, yeah, okay, fine. I literally, halfway through his presentation, put up my hand about 2 inches away from his face and go, stop.
This is a long board, like the boardroom. It's a big boardroom
I
table.
was in there the other day.
And
You
he's
showed me
reached
it.
over like this.
And stop.
Right? Enough. That's what was told to me. Enough. But I'm sorry.
And then I go, can I just have the appointment letter, please? And he's speechless. So I signed the appointment letter and said, you got all the documentation. Do you need anything else? And you went, no, we're good. We're good. And so then I asked him what else he wanted in Perth. And he said, I wanted to meet a few other people. So I introduced my network to try and there and then on the spot. I went, bang, bang, what are you doing? I'm just sorting things out for you. What are you on? Yep, cool, done. Started texting people, sorted out. And by the end of the meeting, we were dear friends. But yeah, I was one of the old company, one of Tryon's very first independent clients.
You would have been my first, what they would class in insurance as a large customer, like corporate type customer. Number one.
I don't even remember what the renewal. I think it was 120 grand or something.
No.
It
It was probably more than that at the time.
can't
but
remember, man.
It was more than that at the time, but
Time flies.
yeah, there was obviously a couple of issues that you had from the get go. I wasn't overselling. I was showing you how I could help you.
Yeah.
But it's not.
He wasn't
every
picking
day.
up on the buying signals.
Yeah, look, Tav was a buyer. He was a buyer. He wanted out. He wanted, out and in. He just wanted a new person to service his portfolio.
Yeah. Solutions.
And it's not.
I just thought
every
when I
day.
came through with the folders like this, I'm like, bang.
Well, look, like, and on top of that, I'm, I think I was 24 years old.
Yeah, you were 24.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
not every day that you have. How tall are you, Tav?
6'5".
6'5". A
skinny
big
as in.
6'5" man. Not happy with you that you're actually talking. He didn't want me to talk at the time. Basically, reach over and give me one of these. And I was sitting there thinking, looking at him thinking, he's so much bigger than me. He's not happy that I'm talking to him right now. He wants me to shut up.
His model was build rapport, several meetings, then get the appointment letter. And I'm like, why? Let's just appoint now. I need this sorted. And I think I gave you 7 days to renew it.
3.
Was it
Oh, it was
a
a
really,
3 days.
really
You gave me
fast
3 days.
turnaround? Because I've heard this now from both sides.
Oh, shit.
I've heard both versions of this story, and I won't lie to you, he gives a little bit more va-va-voom than you do, but it's...
Never sell the steak, sell the sizzle. Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
But the other thing is quite literally, I remember, obviously, Tav being my first larger account that I was picking up at a young age, there was, like you mentioned, there was 3 days to get the renewal done. And this included, I think it fell on a Saturday or something. So it was two business days. Tav gave me absolutely no time. We're talking we concluded the meeting at 6 p.m. He came in at 4:30, or 5 o'clock maybe. Concluded everything at 6. there was no one in the office when we walked out, and I remember Tavis asking me, he's like, "Can you get this done?" And I think my answer was something along the lines of, "I will make it happen."
Sweet.
How good.
It was, and I think that kind of comes back to what we obviously want to discuss today about, you know, service and network and performance and high performers and all this type of stuff. You know, is it really that hard? Is anything really that hard? It's not. And you know, like, I wanted it that badly. I wanted it. I didn't know you back then. No. I wanted it that bad. It didn't matter what it was.
Over that meeting, then started referring you a lot of business.
Yeah.
And I remember ringing you at 6:30 in the morning one morning, because I'd literally been on site and they're talking to me about some insurance issues. And I said, listen, I know a guy, he's doing my stuff, sorted out a few dramas for me. I couldn't recommend him more. And this guy went, done, just get him to call me. So I ring him and he's like, I think you were in bed. But then, you know, it just snowballed from there.
It was really early. It must have been I reckon it was 5:30 or something. 5:30, you'd called me, and I was like, I got questioned at the time, like, who the hell's calling? And I remember Tavis's response on the other end. It was,
I wasn't going to bring this up.
Tavis's response on the other end was,
money.
No ringy, no blingy blingy. And I honestly, like, this was 5:30 in the morning. I'm losing it laughing. I mean, I've got no problem taking the phone call. Like, I've just woken up and, yeah, hey, Tavis, how can I help you? Yeah, it's early, but it is what it is, you know?
I think you had that. Yeah, you had that deal sorted out.
Yeah, no ringy, no blingy blingy. That was one of, I think, you know how you have those moments in your life? That was one of those moments. Like, I'll never forget that, Tavis.
Oh, it was wild.
I've used that with people many times in the past 10 years. Many times.
I think what we're trying to say here is going above and beyond with your clients is not that difficult. Like, it's really, like, we could discuss many, many stories. You know, we'll bring Josh's Odyssey in a second, but, like, you can say everything to you want a client, you know, and we'll do this and we'll do that for you. Just do what you fucking say you're going to do. That's it. Like, don't overpromise. Don't just say, hey, this is what we do, right? But I think Perth really honed in my skills to network, because it's a massive because it's such a closed off community. It's cliquey. How many businesses on the east coast of Australia have tried to go to Perth and failed miserably?
Heaps. Because they don't understand the culture there. I was always, you know, a lot of people said to me I was too aggressive in my style, but whatever. I think it's time to probably bring Josh in on this. And we met sort of through Dave Irvine.
Yeah, I worked with Dave many years ago.
Shout out to Dave.
Wasn't that long actually. Previously, he was a leader at the big recruitment company which I started my career in 2012.
What are the big ones?
The big blue ones. That doesn't give anything away. And yeah, I was like 2 years later. I'd gone through another recruitment agency. It hadn't gone all that well. Another big blue one. And then I'd started my first company at 23. Started the chauffeur business, and I was encouraged, because I enjoy fine cigars, to go and get a bit of networking in at this local venue. And largely it was disappointing, but out of the few people that I can say that I've actually taken real benefit from, it's been yourself and our lasting friendship over now 12 years thereabouts.
Might even
multiple
be longer.
cities.
Multiple cities. Yeah. Lots of Jesus, man. Lots happened over that time.
Lots of water under that bridge.
I guess, what we're all discussing here is we all, we're heavily involved in recruitment. Hello. Mr. Jenkins is finally shown.
Anyway, continue.
He's trying to go through the front door.
He's trying to go through the front door when there's an opening. So I believe there is a lot of education. Yeah. Have a seat, sir. Everyone, this is Dean Jenkins from Jenkins Financial. What? Jenkins Financial Insurance Broking. Yeah.
Jenkins Insurance Financial Services. And all
Have a water, sir. We got you a cigar as well.
Oh yes, my favourite.
And
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. We were just discussing the odyssey of
Good to see
the
you.
Josh Hill. Hello, sir. Lovely to meet you. Lovely to see you.
I'm going to love when this comes out. You're going to hear a whole bunch of stuff about yourself.
Oh, brilliant.
So, I mean,
We started 15 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
We just thought we'd kick it off, you know.
You can't have a Welshman turn up early, can you?
No, so we're going to finish the Perth Odyssey story, and then we're going to get into the Jenkins story.
In fact, he's probably come at the right moment.
He'd probably come bang at the
perfect.
right
Come at right.
Because we've
Yeah.
got,
I always come at the right time.
we've almost finished Perth.
Yeah, we're actually, it's chronological right now.
Yeah.
Feel free. Our sponsor today is Christos Valley Estate, so feel free to help yourself.
Oh, very good. I might imbibe.
Done. So obviously met Josh through Perth, through Dave Irvine. We were all members of a cigar bar in Perth, and straight away hit on. Straight away, same energy, same everything. And that's been the whole way. But through that odyssey, we've built a fairly strong network of other people that we can. James is one of them. Dean is one of them. Trine's another one. And as we're all involved in our own destiny, financial
Empire.
odysseys, everyone's getting serious now.
I'm just missing my Christmas shirt. I should put my Christmas shirt on, shouldn't I, really?
Get it on.
I should,
Who's stopping?
shouldn't
So put your shirt on.
We did a lot without you, so
I?
feel free to go
I
and
know
come back.
exactly.
It's good.
Don't put your Christmas shirt on and
I think
come
it's
back.
tragic that none of you read the memo and wore the stupid
Put the
Christmas
shirt on, then tell us that.
Yeah.
Right?
Go put your
shirt on.
Put your shirt on.
Then
Go
tell
put your
us
shirt
that.
on.
Shirt on and come back.
I can't come here
Love everyone's like,
and not
I'm
have my Christmas shirt on. It's just not right.
My favourite part is that live streaming this, they're loving this.
The Christmas shirt is coming out.
Okay, so go put your shirt on.
And it's probably
you know where the
the
house
best.
is. Now, I know you're not the big fan of stairs here, but you'll be right. Anyway, so met Josh, built a very good friendship. I guess the difference between me and Josh and these is I've actually never done business with you, Josh. Ever.
Well, there's never really been any need,
It's
is there?
really neat.
Yeah.
We work in different things. We started off doing business together. Just to declare everyone, so I do still use Interlink Insurance Brokers for my general insurance, but obviously Trine is no longer my broker. I'll declare that the loud Welshman here, Dean, I do use him for bad debt protection insurance, but we'll get to that in a second. So I do have commercial agreements with Dean and Trine, but do not have any agreements with Josh at all.
I'm just here for fun. That's it.
love your
There's no conflicts of
Now,
interest.
can
love
we
your
just behold?
So we've all...
What
you know,
peacock died on the way in today? Or
Go on, tell it.
How was
Give
your
us your
flight?
spiel now. Tell us what
So
we did wrong.
everyone is like, so Josh and I are dear friends. We've been for a while. Started off both doing business with these gentlemen, and friendship has developed afterwards. I guess we may as well bring in Dean. I met Dean as a supplier to TRS Resourcing,
Certainly did.
and we developed a friendship from there. And we've known each other now 6 years.
More than that, mate.
Well, no, TRS is almost 8.
7 years, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say 7 because we had. I think I had my backers product originally, which we still have questions about what that actually meant. I had policies. I just don't know what.
know what they were.
We just don't know what they were.
moving swiftly on.
Nothing to do with me, just for the
Met
record.
Dean, so just to let everyone know, I would introduce Dean as probably one of Australia's leading bad debt protection insurance brokers, independent.
Without a doubt.
His knowledge is insanely good. He's actually so good, Trine, that when you were thinking of opening up your own division, I said you're crazy and you may as well just talk to Dean.
I did.
Yeah,
And I did.
So what I want to discuss is, Dean, tell us a bit about your business, how you became to be in business, and tell us what you think 2025 is going to look like for you.
Okay, look, for me, business, my own business, was a bit of a schlep, really. Long time in the corporate gig, nearly 30 years, making shed loads of money for everybody else, until I realised that there was a different way of doing it, really. And luckily, the previous firm I was at, they gave me a nice exit package. Worked out some of the clients, of which Tavis was one of them, allowed me to take them, which is obviously testament to to how I performed and what I did there, which is good.
You was probably in your last corporate job was probably the most elegant deal going. Like normally security marched off the premises, never to return again.
Oh, that's happened in the past.
You had a leaving party.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, leaving party.
Yeah. Leaving party.
Like, they wished, they had an open agreement on what clients he could take.
Yeah.
That's how
Like with him or without? They did the
With
party with him or without him? How did that work?
How I ended up being
Probably had two. Probably had two.
I ended up being Dean's first client, but in order for it to happen, I had to extend my coverage for a month.
Yeah, we're not supposed to talk about that. No, we're fine. We're fine. I'm only messing. But,
I thought we could talk. It's not
on the list of things you can't talk about.
It's not on the damn note.
It's not on the nose here. I'm looking at it right here.
You had every opportunity to look through the nose. You could have had.
Been in a group chat for at least 12 hours. Anyway,
I know.
he's going to look at that in 3 days anyway.
I know, exactly.
What I want to talk about is having trust with your suppliers and trust with your partners. And when you did this deal, I had no thought other than, of course, we're going to think. Because at the end of the day, like, we're all in customer service roles. So customer service business. We're, and
Relationships, isn't it?
Relationships.
Yes, relationships.
But it's also knowing that you know what you're talking about, and obviously building that. Like, if anyone said to me, "Who do you need for bad debt insurance?" I would say you're crazy not to go to them, because I believe that not enough companies have enough bad debt protection insurance. I'm crazy. It's crazy how many recruitment companies don't cover it, but still factor their payrolls. I mean, it's
Well, the addressable market in Australia is still huge. So when you
Really?
compare
How
it,
big is it?
it's huge. I mean, it's been a while since anybody's really crunched the numbers, but it used to be out of all the companies that could insure, i.e. take out the retail B2C type businesses out there and just look at the B2B businesses that actually offer credit, so there is a risk there. A lot of companies will trade on cash, which is a different story altogether. But when you actually look at the companies that can insure, that choose to insure, it's only hovering around about 10%.
Why is that?
Because either there's just a lack of education out there, there's a lack of trust, there's a lack of the knowledge of the product. And, I think, whenever I speak to a lot of companies, especially new companies, and my recent forays into the new business game.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I find is they don't know what it is, and they've never heard of it. Or it could be that they've had it in the past and they were burned, right? And I think, and I don't want to speak too ill of my peers in the industry, but I think there's been a lack of clear rules of the road and rules of engagement and sort of standards, because it's a broker-driven market. It's not a insurer-driven market. Whereas the general insurance industry that you're part of, there's huge amount of resources out there for training. I mean, I get invited to so many different things on cyber and PI and everything else. I could go on a course every week or a webinar every week.
In like what you mentioned, like I remember there was one scenario, and it was before you and I met, Dina. But Tav actually spoke to one of my clients, one of my clients who I was actually recommending a trade credit product to, and Tav's words, seriously, Tav saved this person's business. And it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal what happened. I mean, definitely not in my style. I mean, and look, I was not.
I forgot this story.
I did not forget this story because I was sitting there, and at the time, this person was one of my biggest clients, and they've walked into Tavis's office wanting to meet Tavis at the time. Please give me an introduction. And it was, we got on the topic of trade credit, and the words that came out of Tav's mouth were, "Can we swear on here?" Or
fuck yeah!
All right, just making sure.
Have you not used it?
Sorry,
I'm watching all my podcasts.
I'm trying. I'm asking. Okay,
What
I'm
the
just
fuck
asking.
is wrong with you?
Trying is trying.
Anyway, yes.
Trying to be corporate.
Yeah. Basically, the words
Stick
that came
to
out
what
of Tav's mouth were, "You would be fucking crazy not to look at the product. Look at it and buy it. You're fucking nuts if you don't buy it."
I think I said you're fucking
Anyway,
insane if you don't do this.
yeah. So I mean,
I've had that speech from him too.
and let me tell you what happened. client bought. 6 months later, save a client from a $3 million debt.
So it works.
It actually saved them. Number one, they've called me and said, don't say it. And I was like, this big account of mine at the time, and I'm sitting there and I'm like biting my tongue. And I was like,
I told you so.
no, I can't. I
That
told
was a
you
good
so.
idea.
Yeah.
I told you that was a good idea.
But look, in saying that, I mean, and this is someone that had huge amounts of credit with their customers,
Yeah.
I mean, look,
but
there's huge opportunity for you.
The problem is when you're in business, you don't necessarily see the risk, right? You trust. Coming back to what Tav was saying about trust, and trust your suppliers, you trust your relationships, and you have companies that are run by fathers, right? And they've run the business for 30, 40 years, and maybe the son inherits it and they take over and they trust those relationships, right? And then all of a sudden, times change, right? The world changes around you, but you still latch onto those relationships, and that sort of Aussie spirit. You'll be right, mate. It's all going to be okay. It's all going to be good. But
until it's not.
Until it's not. And it doesn't matter how pally you have been with that particular business, that particular debtor, because they become a debtor. They will
Look after themselves.
They will look after themselves when the chips are down and they've got mouths to feed, and they can either pay your bill or they don't. They're not going to pay your bill.
An arm flashback.
Right? They will, and it'll happen.
Yeah.
And I've had
And I went to
conversations.
them,
And it's a common objection. Like one of the things that, and you'll find this in everything that we do, especially in our game, is I have objection handling training, right? And you have certain lines that come up all the time. Oh yeah, we know our debtors. Really? You really think you know your debtors? No, you don't, mate.
I put it down to things like private health insurance. You don't need it till you need it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, insurance is a necessary evil, isn't it? It's also a bloody boring topic. But it's a necessary evil.
Dean's right here, and this is something we educate our clients. So this would be myself and Dean. You don't want to make a claim.
No.
You should never actually plan. Quite literally. If you can get through your entire working career, your entire business life without making a claim, I mean, look, and it depends where you're at. Small business, you can do it. Larger business, probably don't stand a chance based on different types of scenarios. Yeah. But if you can, that's ideal.
That's brilliant.
It is ideal never to do it.
Brilliant.
But at the end of the day, shit happens. So that's why we exist.
Protect the downside.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you think that in your world it's been less busy because times have been good and you've had less bad debtors, and now as times are tougher, interest rates rise, that kind of thing, you're becoming more in vogue?
Yeah, look, I think the market has caught up as well. I think the big problem you've got in Australia in particular is a lack of transparency, right? So you're not, governed, or you're not mandated to file your accounts, right? Whereas in the UK, doesn't matter how big you are, you file your accounts, right? And everybody can see your dirty laundry. And that means the risk underwriters that are making calls on your risk and your profile, they can make a decision very easily, very quick, right? Whereas here, you don't have to disclose information.
It's trust.
Right? It's all trust.
This
right?
is why cloud-based credit checking software is now all the rage.
It's just information flow. It's the flow of information to get information into people's hands is so much easier, and therefore people can make decisions. So coming back to the common objection handling, the other one was, they only cover the good risks. And it's like, well, yeah, they cover the good risks because they've done the due diligence, and if they're shit risks, you shouldn't be trading with them, right? So, there's a little bit of that, but there's also grey areas, right? There's also grey areas where you've got somebody that's maybe been through the runner. Take the recent pandemic. We can say pandemic on this podcast, can we? We're not going to get shadow banned, we?
No, I
guess we'll find out.
I know.
But I guess where this is all going to is you're as good as your network, but you're also as good as the systems and the technology that you bring into your business.
Yeah.
Okay. I am all for tech. I'm all for AI. I think if you don't use it, you think. But where I guess we're all linked is through our network, okay, and customer service and people trusting the product that we represent, whether it's recruitment, insurance, whatever, okay. How do you guys feel about the changing needs of our clients? Because we're becoming more and more trusted, as in we need people, we need staff, we need an insurance product, but you've got objection training, you've got objection training, we're all getting objections. Let's stay with this thing. How do you feel about knowing that a client is vulnerable to the sector or the field that they provide, but they refuse to take the insurance on the bad debt credit side? They have a claim, and then it's apparently your fault.
Well, the first thing first is if I give them something and they don't take it up, I make sure that I tell them, sorry you didn't take this up. Maybe we can look at it again in the future. So there's a clear evidence that I told you to take it, but you didn't. You know?
Our compliance and insurance is
I have to say that for legal compliance reasons.
Tighter than other,
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
a bit tighter than other industries.
Yeah.
You know, parts of our Australian financial services license will require us to have minutes and records of every conversation we have with every single client, every single day, every minute.
Yeah. And that's what Zoom calls are very good for.
I mean, technically, yeah. If I give advice, surely it's timestamped somewhere. James has got this sorted out. So.
I'd like to put a legal disclaimer. My opinions are expressing my own and not...
Yeah.
So, when we're talking about objections and clients, I always find it interesting. Well, I mean, as you know, guys, I'm the easiest person in the world to insurance to. And yeah, insurance can be boring, but let's sing it. Let's talk about, well, it can be boring because people don't synergize with it.
Who synergizes with insurance unless you're in insurance?
Undertakers.
Look, I am a self-professed insurance nerd. I love it. I love it.
Too.
I love every part of it.
Me too.
I really enjoy what I do. But let me tell you, this is one thing. I actually presented this to my team the other day. I had to change my company strategy. I had to kind of reword it a bit. But basically what it was, I told everyone that a part of our mission was to destroy client apathy towards insurance. Now, that's a big ask. But one thing that this is literally the way I explain it to people, and I think I've told Tav this in the past, wife, girlfriend, partner, daughter, son, whatever it might be, let's say you're buying them a new Toyota Camry, buying them a new, 4 years old, whatever it might be. Like, give you an example. You want to know the year, the make, you want to know the model, you want to know, the model year, you want to know the mileage, you want to know whether it's been in an accident before, you want to look at the logbook, is the logbook in check, has it been serviced correctly? Now, and we're talking about a $30,000 purchase here, $40,000 purchase. Most people will spend $500,000 on insurance and not even understand what they're covered for. And that is what I mean.
That scares me.
No, look, it's a fact. But the thing is, when you look at it as a whole, insurance is not sexy. But, like you mentioned before, when you've got it and something happens, thank God you've got it. And that's why we're here. But it's actually, when I say destroy client apathy towards it, it's actually, making sure that they understand what they're buying. How many times, and I'm sure Dean will have the same, many stories of the same, which are how many times we go out to a client, talk to them about renewal and, start going through their policies and their pre-renewal checks and going through all the data. They'll come back to us and go, oh yeah, I had, this happened to me last year. And I'm sitting there going,
didn't tell me.
Yeah, you should have told us. And even though we explain it over and over and over, and look, it's our job to understand this, but the reason why we educate is, I've had multiple scenarios where things are insured and then we start going and backtracking with the insurer. We ended up getting it paid, like a few things paid here and there. And most of the time you will get it paid, but the insurer will come back and go, well, we could have got it settled for this, not this. So we'll give you
the delta.
So what you're telling all of us is, and our listeners, is with your network and the people that you partner with, you got to be transparent.
Transparency is everything.
But everyone's worried about being judged, I guess. and being
So?
well. What? But you know,
Like, you know what I mean? Like, so?
I understand that this table is exception to the rule, and we probably
Fair
know more
enough.
about each other than we should. Okay.
Probably.
That stops there, right?
Yeah,
That's in the notes.
well, just-
That's in the notes.
Yeah, here, I've got it here. I've got it. No, it's definitely here, right? Yeah.
No comment, Your Honour.
No comment. I'll plead the
What I'm
fifth.
getting at is like, what I'd like to talk about now is the importance of your online profile to build trust. So what I want to discuss is, and bring this back into some sort of
Decorum.
decorum, is, thank you, is the importance of online profile, doing podcasts, video, branding, working with great people here like James. Well, I've now referred to you as the video wizard. You're on like, yeah.
Got a good setup.
Your reputation is destroyed forever.
Well, I've actually had people reach out to me to jump on this because of the quality of your production. So, you know, give credit where credit is due. I was always anti-video. You know, I was always text on LinkedIn, and now, you know, we've got Tav's little video chat here. So, Josh, you may as well jump back in on this because this is kind of your area of expertise. How do we go about building trust with our clients? Because again, we're customer service. You know, someone that might be thinking of starting their own recruitment company or their own insurance.
Are you on
brokerage.
about? Are you on about social media now, or are you
No,
on
I'm
about
talking about
branding.
everything.
Branding.
I'm
Oh,
talking
okay.
about
Yeah.
trust.
Yeah.
How does people?
Can I jump in there? Because I think the one thing that I've
Why not?
Why not? Let's
Josh was going to jump.
let's freeball it, shall we? Let's freeball it.
Let Dean.
I tell you,
Lost time, that's
I tell you
exactly what
what.
it is.
I tell you the reason why I want to jump in there
once
is because you two are the experts on the social media.
I would say he is.
As you know,
I'd say
I'm
these two here.
pretty useless with social media. I have got a lot better. But the one thing I realised, and you'll ping me for this, is I've always operated on sort of face-to-face relationships, right? Always networking in person. Always looked at sort of that sort of press in the flesh type arrangement, right? Looking at relationships, looking at introductions on the back of existing relationships. But what I realise since I've had my own business is you have to have everything.
That's what I was just about to. I was going to jump in on that.
Right?
Go on.
But you have to have everything. You have to have lots of touch points because most people now, even if you're introduced to somebody by somebody that's trusted, the first thing they're going to do, they're going to look at your website. Then they're going to look at your social media presence. Then they're going to look at any YouTubes or podcasts or anything else you've been on, or any papers you've written, or if you've done presentations or anything. They're going to go through and they're going to go, okay, is this a stand-up guy? Is he actually as good as he says he is? Where's he been? Who does he know? What's he about? Blah, 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 blah. And I didn't realise that. And you don't realise that when you're in a corporate environment. No. Not so much. You know,
'Cause
when it's your own...
They do the brand for you.
They do the branding, right? One of the things when I was at my previous firm, especially at Marsh, they indoctrinate you, right? And you become a Martian, right? You are Marsh. Marsh are great. And it's that
Dean, can I just stop you there for a sec? Should we be talking names here?
Well, you look, everybody knows where I am. They can look me up. That's the beautiful thing about
James, just
social
giving us the
media.
thumbs up, mate. Go away.
Right? But no, that's true, right? And I mean, most people...
Yet,
Nothing litigious. I haven't bagged them. They're very good. Till they weren't. But that is exactly what it is, right? Social media is not taking care of you by the big firms. You're just automatically branded in. You know, oh, you're Marsh. Oh, yeah, you've got credibility. You are Marsh. You get this, that, and the other. Or you are Lockton's. Or you are this, or that. But when you've got your own business, it becomes vitally important that you build your brand. And you can't do that without social media. That's my 2 cents, boys. Look, I've come a long way since I started my business, haven't I?
Oh, you have.
You know what I mean?
We don't. It's.
Check
I
us the,
think.
check us the
Okay, he's gonna give it a go.
thank you, sweetheart.
Regrettingly, I actually deleted my old LinkedIn profile from London back in the day. I decided I didn't want an online presence, and funny enough, when I have briefly spoken about this before, is like when I turned my LinkedIn back on, I developed like 4,000 followers within a year, like not even, without even trying. You know, and this is back in the day before, you know, we have many conferences about this, but I'm a massive believer if you want to start your own recruitment business or your own insurance or your own customer service based business, you have to engage with the socials. Now, ideally, yes, start with someone like a James, but like also James doesn't want to work with people that have never worked in this, done this before, because the learning curve is just too much. You know, you got to be comfortable to take a video. You got to be comfortable to do that, because James isn't a counsellor at the end of the day.
That's our job.
That's our job.
That's our job. So, what I would like to keep talking about is the importance of, keep coming back to this customer service, but serving your clients, building trust, but also identifying the correct clients that you service, because we can't service everyone. We're independent. You mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, it depends which part you want to talk about. If we're
whatever
talking
you'd
about,
like to talk about, sir.
Yeah, I think what Dean was saying about, I guess, this marketing, branding web, like this huge web that you have to design nowadays, especially as a private business. I've got a marketing business as well, and I've learnt this very, very fast. But I actually learnt from a marketing business that I engaged in 2016, I believe. I think it was 16.
Yeah, I remember this.
And they basically they gave me this idea of, they gave me the concept of it, and I never really understood how to use it in insurance, because for me, like Dean, I was always, and I still am, face to face, in the flesh, having a drink, having a coffee, breaking bread with someone to build a relationship. I mean, that's never going to go away.
It's old school, isn't it?
Look, anytime soon, it's not going away.
No.
As long as people like us exist in the business world, it's not going anywhere. I guess, but sorry, Tav, but in terms of like how it helps when we continue having that push onto online and this marketing and branding space, Tav actually is the one that got me to create a LinkedIn profile. Tavis got his marketing person at the time to create me a LinkedIn profile when I first met him.
Jesus, we've got some stories.
Anyway, back then, seriously, this is what happened. Back then, I was like, oh yeah, whatever. I was 26. I was picking up business face to face, knocking on doors, asking for referrals. And, Tavis is a great referral partner of Interlinks today, refers us non-stop. But again, and I think there's a few facets to this, right? You refer because our customer service, our speed of delivery, that personalised service that we give you all the time. Trust. You call, we pick up. You know that we're there no matter what. But on top of that, when you do refer us, someone like Dean was saying, someone will go look at us. And, we've spent ungodly amounts of money on marketing at this point as a business. But I know for a fact, and I'll give you a great example, I met a guy on the plane yesterday, and he was very, very interested in talking to me, and I'll very, very likely help him. Probably needs a bit of your help too, by the way.
Very good.
But
this is what we like.
In saying, he will search me up. I've sent him an email this morning. He'll search me up, and what he'll find is a plethora of marketing, showing that we are experts in what we do. He's had a great conversation, and it was face to face. I sat with him on the plane for 3 hours yesterday. We had a great time together. But in saying that, he's literally going to find us online and find all of this stuff about us, and it just solidifies who we are. This is not someone that's been referred into us. This is just a chance meeting. But again, this is how we show people who we are.
Just to come back to the original question that Dean swiped from me, there's a few pieces to this, right? Everyone's sitting here, you're all talking about social media, you're all wrong. It's just one very small avenue of your brand. If you're thinking that your brand is purely an online presence, you've failed, right? Because what it needs to be is authentic to who you are throughout your entire way of working. Everywhere that you were just talking about trying, right? If you're talking publicly, and the recruitment sector has a big problem with this. Let's say you're saying we value these things and these are our key values, etc. And then the polar opposite is their reflection of how they interact with you personally. That's a shitty personal brand, right? To validate the point a little bit more, right? LinkedIn and all your in-person interactions, everything that goes with it, the sum of who you are as a person. That's the sum of your brand. It's a case of taking the time to kind of actually build that. So, being true to who you are, I think this chat is a really good reflection of that, because you're exactly who you are on here as who you are elsewhere. But referrals are 56% more likely to generate business than cold calls, right? That's just that's how things work these days.
Without shadow,
Source are our friends, our friends at Sourcer. They're they've built a whole business on it, because
I
it's
introduced you to Saucer, and you got Saucer famous.
Saucer.
I'm in some branding people. Look, I can talk well. Anyway, point being is that whole business is founded upon the idea that if I say, hey, you should go speak to Triadine, you're much more likely to generate some return on that than you are from looking at Google, right? That's why Glassdoor exists as well, though. Oh, well, these people have said this about the company. I should probably go look at that. So if you're not covering your bases in these areas, Glassdoor is a really good one. We see it in our industry all the time. People go and look at those things. Oh, that company's got a 2-star Glassdoor. I'm not going to go speak to them.
Yeah.
I don't condone or encourage that, but it needs to be very much about holistic. It needs to be holistic. It needs to be what you see is what you get. Who you are is who you are all the time. And you need to live the stuff you're talking about, right? You can't sit there and pretend to be X and then end up being Y, because very quickly it'll fall apart. So I think branding is paramount now to trust. Branding builds trust. People then have to go and live that experience.
I would even like to add to it that it's also, once you've built trust, how do you maintain it?
It's core principles, isn't it?
Well, consistency.
Consistency,
Value
core
consistency.
Yeah.
Because
Core
at
principles.
the end of the day, we're all as good as our last deal.
Yep.
And we've all had shit go south.
Regularly.
And how you deal with it. How... I have always thought the best way to deal with stuff going south is direct approach. Never an email. Never a text. Make a phone call. Or if it's really going south, go see them on site. Because us as salespeople in customer service roles, what we think's going on in our head is not actually what's going on in our client, not even remotely close to it. I went out and saw a client a couple of weeks ago thinking there was a massive drama. They were just having a bad day. They were just having a bad day.
We've been there.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that a lot of people in our industries, both of our industries and any service industries, forget, we sell a promise, we sell something on a piece of paper, and realistically, like, if it's not tangible, the only other thing we have is service. The only other thing we have is picking up the phone, responding on time, being timely, and being there. And I think that's probably the most important thing. And, like you said, building, like, how do you maintain that trust? You maintain the consistent service that you've always given them. You deliver what you say you're going to deliver, and you do it in a timely manner. This here expands into plenty of things, and I know we want to talk about, like, businesses today as well, specifically. But, when it comes to speed of delivery, that's speed of action. And speed of action as a business, for example, my business can only move as fast as my best people. And the people that I have around me and the people that we all have around us, for example, I know that, something within my business today needs to be changed. It needs to be changed now. Not in 3 months, not in 6 months, now. But that, this, I guess, this speed needs to be priority. That's what we do. We are a service-based business. We don't really sell anything else.
Yeah. We get paid on an outcome.
Yeah.
We get paid on an outcome. We all, it's all be great if we got paid on effort.
Hourly rate.
Hourly rate on promises.
Imagine earning an hourly rate.
I couldn't get you that person, but here's the hours that I put in to really try hard to get it sorted for you.
Yeah.
The client's not going to give a shit. I mean, it's...
Isn't that what lawyers do?
Yeah.
Regardless of outcome.
6 minute intervals, yeah. Listen, none of us here are going to be lawyers.
Exactly. Might see a couple if we keep them talking like that, though.
Yeah.
I've got my lawyer on standby.
In the other room waiting.
It's... We all get paid on an outcome, right? And at the end of that, I guess what I've learned over my odyssey of recruitment business ownership now, which is, 13 years? We had the one before it. Is... What I've noticed, right, with the clients that we have is, yep, you're expensive to have, but you get us people. Or you really, you don't just fill the easy stuff. You understand our entire business approach. And I guess the people that are really successful running independent businesses understand that their clients need more than one thing from you. Like, how many clients have you guys sold to that haven't taken cyber insurance policies, but you know deep in their heart they should have?
A lot.
Yeah. A lot.
A lot.
Most of them.
I mean, I have actual data, but we won't go into that. But yeah, the answer's a lot. The answer is a lot.
And
all of them that have.
How does that make you feel knowing that you've tried to do your job to the best of your ability? You've gone this, and this, and they're treating this as a transaction where you're trying to protect their business. Where at this point do you then just cut the line and go, you know what, we've done our best. We've tried to tell you what's going on. This isn't just about price. This is about a service. Anyone can go online now and find stuff or find an insurance policy. I wouldn't recommend doing it. You know, as you said, you have no idea what you're covered for. You know, and it's also about peace of mind. What I would like to discuss now is lessons that we have learned from dealing with clients that hasn't gone right. Doesn't matter what happened. Sometimes a client and you just don't synergize. I had a couple early on at TRS, cost me a lot of money. Moved on, you know, had the right thing, but also understanding that it takes many years to build the right people around your business. And your business goes through many odysseys through that time. So what I'm trying to find is how do you deal with that? How do you understand that maybe today I don't have the right clients that I need to have, or I do have some great clients, but they don't value me as much as I value them?
The answer is volume to start with. When you first start, I'm not talking about now established businesses. When you first start a business and you need to keep the doors open, you take on a client. Over time, you change, I guess, you know, you figure out your price point, you figure out what you need, you figure out who you're best serving. And I think over time, you actually mold your client base. And look, I mean, you can't deal with everyone. Again, we can't be everything to everyone.
No.
Right? And that's a good thing. Like, you
Well,
don't want to be. Yeah. You don't want to.
Yeah.
I think as a startup, obviously there's challenges around that. I've seen both ends of the spectrum, taking on, you know, an established business and starting a couple of my own. So, you know, I've seen it on both ends where it's like, you know, with this established business being Interlink Insurance Brokers, we can pick and choose who we deal with, which is great. It's a great place to be in, because we've got our niche, we've got our experts in the business, we've got certain levels of capacity that we work to. And then on the other hand, I've started up other businesses where, like, we need a damn client. Like, you need a damn client to keep the doors open. So, but over time, you actually, I think you develop that over time. But when it comes to problems, I think I don't know. Like, for me, it's probably intuitive, where you learn as you go and you just kind of feel it out along the way, and you figure out what you're best at and who you're best dealing with. But that's how I've always done it.
I think with our business especially, though, I think you've also got to be careful with some clients.
Of course.
Because, you know, coming back to, you know, it's a trust business and it's a promise, right? And, you know, you've also got duty of disclosure, right? Which is a big thing, right?
What's that thing?
Yeah, duty of disclosure. So
everything I have said.
Everything, yeah. Right?
Caveat.
Yeah.
Duty of
right?
disclosure.
But it is. I mean,
explain it for us who are idiots. What is duty of disclosure?
like you're a 5-year-old. But you've got a duty of disclosure to disclose all material facts of the risk, right? And sometimes clients will withhold certain things from you, right? And those clients are not the clients that you want, right?
Because they're generally withholding something that is.
Well, it's gonna bite you. Well, not only that. Not only that, it's going to invalidate your insurance. It's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth, and you're not going to get a claim paid. The client is going to end up taking you to court, because they'll turn around and say, until they're blue murder, that they told you. And unless you've taken copious amounts of notes, you know, and you've got really good, you know, written evidence, you're gonna find yourself in hot water. So, coming back to that point of, like, taking on any clients, I think and you'll vibe with this, and you probably all vibe with this. Sometimes you just get a feel.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Oh,
you go,
yes. Honestly,
you know,
gut feel is
a gut
probably-
feel, and you'll go, do you know what? You'll go, I don't want to deal with this person because this is going to land me in hot water, right? They're not running their business well. They're lying to me openly. I can't represent this person, you know? And look, I'm not saying that there's tons and tons of people out there, but you do have to be
I
careful
see
when
it
you're
with recruiters
starting
where
a
they
business.
just do a deal because they want the com.
Yeah.
You know, there's
You're like, why did we do this deal?
Yeah.
my co-director, she taught me from very young, and obviously, yeah, like there's a whole ton of caveats to what I mentioned, but what she said is, and this is true in every service-based industry to have any type of client, but you know, your client can be your best friend, but they can also be your worst enemy. They can be your worst enemy. Like if you do not choose your clients correctly, you may not have a business tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, look, recruitment's a bit of a weird one, right? Because we don't get paid until we actually complete the deal. So there's a lot of people out there who hold maybe justifiably negative views of what we do for a living, and will use us as for no other words, just a benchmarking tool. So they don't actually have to pay us to go and do hours and hours and hours and hours of work that comes with market identification, figuring out who's who in the zoo, actually giving them market salary data. And they'll get a bunch of CVs of us and go, yeah, the one we had was better, thanks.
Yeah.
And we've put in all this work and effort, and you know, in our head, it's one of those things where we're good to go. But in reality, in their world, they've just ticked their internal box. So I think, yeah, the negative thing about our industry, Tav, is you're 100% right, is that it actually like supports and perpetuates negativity, which doesn't put our customer at front of mind. So there's different methods and ways in which you do it. So I'll sit there and say to a client, hey, look, this is a really important role for you. Yes, okay, it is, absolutely. This is a GM, CEO, COO, what have you. What's it going to mean if that person's not in the business? Oh, okay, well, yeah, this. And the hard part is that often we'll sit there, and we've probably all been guilty of it, and go get really excited and go, oh, we're going to make some money. Awesome. And then run off and go do the work. I've taken the opposite approach, and it's something that's been going for a couple of years, that we try to focus on really shutting down things in discovery. I want people to get to discovery and not be right. And us go, hey, look, you should definitely run your own process first. And if that doesn't work, call us, and this is what we're going to do to fix your problem. But right now, you can absolutely
Go and
do it
exhaust yourself, yeah.
I wouldn't mind adding something to this. Also, understanding what a false positive is. And what I mean is, like, this client's feeling something's off. But again, they're just having a bad day.
Yeah.
Solid business. The numbers tell me that this is good, but, you know, you're then getting a client, yep, you're vibing, you're good. And then suddenly you do the background check and you go,
Yeah. It's not a problem I have so much in my industry. It's not time for that discussion. It's an insurance discussion.
I could have taken the conversation.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, nah, okay, we won't go down that road. You know, I was going to have one of my tab top tips. But for people also watching this, and you know, again, people are watching this. We'll get some more water in a second. I think what we're trying to say here is trust your gut, but do your R&D, and then see what the numbers report back. You know, like as in trust your gut. I want to deal with this client. Maybe I don't want to deal with this client. Then do your due diligence. Find out what's going on. I mean, prime example in our industry is you just see the same client on CVs all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you're in your lane. You become an expert in your field, right?
You know something's wrong there.
You know something's wrong, and then this client comes to you, and you know you've just seen, you know, this
Revolving
door of just drama because of one line manager or this.
That's an opportunity as well, right? If you're going to go in there as an advisor, and you know, I've seen it in earlier processes that we've run. I've gone to someone and gone, hey, this job's been up for 6 months. I've seen it 3 or 4 times. Do you want to know what we're hearing about this job in the market? Let me give you some feedback. Because intrinsically, people are naturally pretty predetermined to their own bubble. So they're going to go, well, oh, we're a great company. This is a great role. Why aren't people hiring it?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what the market's telling you about this.
Yeah.
And let me tell you some validated feedback from other people. That's our job as well. It's not always their fault. That's the hard thing about this, right?
No,
You got to tell them. You got to tell them the bad stuff as well as the good stuff.
Exactly, but we're assuming that these people are acting in bad faith. Whereas, in honesty, I think the vast majority of people and businesses certainly founders, managing directors, people at the
100%.
executive want things to go well, and they're trying to do the best for their business. Now, we've all had some experience with actual bad actors, and we know what that's like.
Yeah.
Most people don't fit into that category. It's on the no list. We're not going to go there. But
Top point.
Yeah.
Top point.
we're talking about
Just for everyone's reference, we all actually did FaceTime. If you look at my Instagram, you'll see it. But we had the tripod last night of around the
campfire.
around the fire pit.
around the
Discussing,
fire
what do
hazard.
guys.
Fire
We're
hazard.
doing the Christmas special. It's actually happening. We've been planning this for 3-4 months now. What are we allowed and not allowed to talk about? And there's a big list of okays, and there's a couple of bigs of no's down the bottom here, and we were very close to it.
we're just mindful of some litigious former associates. Anyway, I think going back to...
I love it. You're the one bringing this up. Let's move on.
Can we just move on?
I was about to.
It was your no.
And then you both, and then you both stopped me as I was mid-sentence to continue.
Tell us.
Anyway, so I think going back to branding is actually a big part of it, right? Because what you put out is what you get back. So
Yeah.
if people are going to resonate with what you're talking about, they're more likely to be the kind of person you want to do business with. They're almost pre-qualified.
Yeah.
Because they're
I think
understanding
you're
who you
right
are
there.
and what you're about.
Yeah, you're right. You're right there. No,
And,
shut up.
you know, a great point on that. You know, you and I will, you know, with the HR business that you've got going on, we've had discussions, and you know, I've been hitting up Josh for, I think I've been calling you for close to 9 years now. It's
been a long time.
Wherever you've been, and I know you've been in positions where, you know, you may or may not have had that say, whatever it might be, but like, I've always been on your tail about something. But the thing is, you don't trust me because you've done business with me. You trust me because you know Tavis.
But I've done business with you now.
Well, but you know what I mean? Like originally when we had this discussion, your trust is not because of what we've done in the past.
Yeah.
It's because of what I've done for Tavis and what Tavis says about me, and that really strong referral, that relationship that Tavis and I have.
Trust
which is great.
is implicit and trust is implied. And I think that's the power of networks, right? Again, back to the referral piece. If someone that you know says, hey, that guy's all right. I mean, lots of people say that about Dean. I'm still here to not see it. I don't have,
I'm waiting.
I don't have bad
I'm
debt
waiting.
insurance. But, you know, there's always people out there who professionally you align with, right? And then I think as you go through it and you know, we've all been there, you kind of sit there and go, really quickly, I know if that person's on the level or not worth talking to.
The one thing though, when you coming back to starting a business, right, and you're talking about getting clients, need clients, I think the one thing that you can really mess up on is that hunger to do the deal. One, dealing with the wrong customer, but also just being a little bit too needy.
Yeah.
And a little bit too desperate for business,
It
right?
loses.
And you lose
You can smell
that
it.
genuine sort of
Reeks.
Desperation,
desperation, right?
Reeks.
And I think you've got to relax. If you're a new person in business, whatever field it is, you've got to really stay true to your core values and go, you know what? I only want to do business this way, or I only want to deal with this type of customer, or I'm only going to vibe with, if I get something that's off, I'm going to shut it down. I've got to have my core values and I've got to maintain them. Because if you lose your genuinity, help me out, come on.
Genuineness?
Genuinity. It sounds like that's. Let's go with genuinity.
Being genuine.
Yes.
You know what we
being
need?
genuine.
Let's just simplify.
We need a Jamie look that up.
But it's true, right? But it comes back to one thing, right? Whenever I'm in a meeting, I will never get worried about meeting anybody from any level because I'm genuine, right? I'm genuine.
100%.
I want to go in there and I want to help someone, right? If I'm going in there with an ulterior motive, go, I got to get this sale. It's a $50,000 sale. I've got to make money. It'll come out of every single pore. Oh. But if you go in there and you go, do you know what? I actually genuinely want to help this business. I genuinely want to help this person. I know I can. And the products that I'm aligned around can actually do what I say they're going to do. It goes a lot easier. And you don't have to worry about what you're saying because it's all coming from the heart. It's all genuine, right? That's what I want to.
And then if they walk out of that and don't want that, that's on them.
That's on them. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
And the thing is,
you care less
don't
about that loss. Then.
Exactly, right? And you don't feel bad because you haven't left it on the table. You haven't left something out of the bag. If you've actually come to the meeting, you've come in there, you've laid it all down, you've been genuine about their problems, you've given them solutions, and you said, look, I'll leave it with you, but this is really what you need, and I hope I've done a good enough job explaining that. But if you can go out with your head held high, know that you've kept your core principles, know that you've been genuine, know that you want to help somebody, and they still don't want to do business with you, then even if they don't do business straight away, they'll remember the fact that they had a really good meeting with you, and you'll be the first call.
Happens all the time.
It's probably, if they don't want to do business with you, they don't value the product that you
Yet.
Or
Or they don't understand it, or they've got preconceptions of what it is, or they just don't like insurance people. Or Welsh people.
Not uncommon. The insurance.
Welsh people.
The insurance part.
Also,
All Welsh, I don't know.
Or the Welsh, yeah.
something else I want to add.
Can't stand them.
Being a business owner
Yeah.
isn't for everyone. Just because you're a good manager in a business
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
doesn't mean you should go and run your own
Yeah.
company.
That's why businesses failed.
And
86% of them.
I know what you're looking at me, and we're not going there.
No. What I was going to say is what Dean was saying about selling and oozing that desperation in a deal. I think what people are missing is, when you start a business, it is chaos.
It is chaos.
It is chaos, and the
Absolute chaos.
Dysfunctional circus.
No, it's chaos. You need to embrace the chaos.
Yeah.
If you can't handle the chaos that ensues on starting a business and going out on your own,
Don't do it.
what were you expecting?
Yeah.
What were you expecting?
Don't do it.
It takes a long
Friday
time.
lunches, mate.
Yeah, work your
Well,
own hours.
and look,
Playing golf all day.
maybe that is what people see, and that's what they think
what
it's
they
going to be
expect,
like.
It's
But it's
misconception.
not.
It is,
It's
yeah.
absolutely
Yeah, it
not.
is.
And I think
Easiest
that's
way to get an ATO debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
It is, yeah.
but-
They happen every quarter.
that's why. Yeah, that is why people come around and they ooze of desperation when they try to sell.
It's difficult. It is
That's
difficult.
right.
Because they're used to that warm, comfortable pair of slippers in the corporate world. And then as soon as they put on the big boy pants, they realise that they're swimming without their bathers. There was a lot of...
No guardrails.
There's no guardrails, no.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be there to catch. You can surround yourself with coaches and people who mean well and everything else, but at the end of the day, it's always you.
And it's kind of on the no list, but it's okay.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
When I went
Call the
through my
lawyers.
liquidation, I had no idea what my director duties were. You know the thing, you start a business, just sign off.
That's why I've got a digital director ID these days.
Exactly.
To prove that you've read it.
What I'm getting at, you don't know what you don't know, right? So that's all I want to add. But I feel sometimes that you see great managers in businesses struggle, and you see mediocre managers thrive in business because of the individual that they are. I could never go back to being an employee.
I don't think anybody would employ you.
No, of course.
They certainly wouldn't employ me.
I think we're all unemployable.
I think we're all employable.
I think what
We'd be a
probably
nightmare.
should is we should have made this podcast about creating and maintaining mutinies. How to a 101 guide on how to create a mutiny within the company you work for.
How to effectively
Exactly.
How to get one side of the office versus the other side of the office.
I've got a question for the table. Going back to our piece just now, we we're talking about people that that doesn't work out. How often do you walk out of something and you go, God, I think I would have really liked that work or I would have liked that business. And then 6, 12, 18 months later, you go, I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
Something happens. They're in administration or someone done something dodgy.
Yeah, I
or
see
you
it all the
thank
time.
God for that. I know there's an alley-oop here, but that wasn't the intent.
I don't want to talk about my experience. There's a lot.
But it happens, right? It's
Yeah,
not
it
uncommon.
is a very common thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I've probably worked with Tavis the longest here, and quite a long-term referral partnership and friendship. And Tavis has been my business mentor, especially at the beginning. And Tavis seen me go through it plenty of times. It's normal. And the thing is, like you said, there's bad eggs out there that don't want to do the right thing, and it catches up with them eventually.
It does.
I'll add to this. If I haven't got something going along on that thing, I'm already questioning, asking when it's going to come. Everything's going too smoothly at the moment. There's not enough pressure on me.
Eternal pessimist.
We had a
That's
conversation about
called.
this the other day about, creating diamonds. You need that certain bit of pressure.
Yeah.
We're all similar to that, where we have had. I look at it as unnecessary issues when I was an employee. In hindsight, I look back at it and say, I was just a little bit different thinking. I wasn't.
It's one way to put it.
It's one way to put it.
So diplomatic.
I know.
I want to make sure that people get value out of this podcast. They do get pop, but I want to make sure that people that are listening to this take something away from it. And I think the biggest lesson we're all trying to say is that shit is going to happen, and it doesn't matter what happens to you; it's how you deal with it. But it's just because you've dealt with it once doesn't mean you're going to deal again. Also, the longer you go down this odyssey, the different conversations you start having with your partners. We don't discuss. I mean, when I'm talking to you about credit, it's more about, has this company, do you know? Is it because patterns with companies change, right? Or industries change, or it's interesting that, I think through my odyssey of business ownership, right, I've had more bad shit happen to me than good shit. But when the good shit happens, it's really fucking good, and it sets you up for a long time. And then when some bad shit comes along again, you go, it's okay.
We remember the bad shit more than you remember the good shit. That's the problem.
You need to do that.
Yeah.
I think you need to be reminded that at the end of the day, we all are,
shit happens, I think, is the
shit
thing, isn't it?
And it's, I have got great insurance partners. I've got a great friendship with Josh here where I can lean on all of you guys for different things. And, if one of my clients goes south, I make a team's problem. Because but the thing is, we have the relationship in place where there won't be a problem. It's like, we've had this, okay, cool, get a check cut for you, move on. There's no other conversation because we've covered off all the, I know we talked about this insurance, but I didn't take it out at the time, but now I do need to take it out. And then you're kind of leaning on a friendship to try to do something, which obviously you would never fucking do, but this is the danger of having a network, but also not respecting the network that you've built.
Yeah.
You disagree?
No, it's not a real network. I don't know. It's not the true network. And Josh actually mentioned this yesterday when we were on a call. It was like your true network, not people you know. Like, when shit goes south, who are you calling? Who's going to pick up the damn phone and help you through something that's fucked? That's that's your network.
Levels.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that's
there's definitely levels.
Maybe that's a better way to describe it. But
earth shattering news. It's a different network.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's obviously going to be smaller and tighter.
Yeah.
But you want some badass people on your team to be dealing with that.
You want the fixer. You want Ray Donovan. That's what you want.
I was thinking more John Wick, but yeah, we can go.
Yeah, John Wick.
No, but I agree.
Don't touch his dog.
I do agree.
Yeah.
But that shows the level of problems Tavis has, doesn't it? It needs John Wick. I just call Ray Donovan.
I just want to know which one of us is John Wick.
It's definitely
Tab. James has a very a disciplined level when it comes to doing this. He has to put up with all of us. Okay, I think we've covered the importance of having a network, and also the importance of developing that over time, and not just we all vibe, let's do business together, all that, because that just ends badly. And how many people do we know that have done that, and then
The wheels fall off.
The wheels fall off, and people don't return calls, or
you gave me a good lesson on that when I was younger. Yeah. You gave me a great lesson on that. I ended up buddying up with a business probably 8-9 years ago now, and obviously Tav saw it from a mile away, and Tav was a very strong business mentor of mine at the time, still is today, but at the time very strong.
You've evolved.
Yeah, and I remember when I actually ran something past him, and he said, "That person, all you're doing is holding hands, singing Kumbaya." That's what he told me. He goes,
Oh, yeah.
that is going to go south. And in my head, naive me, I was like, oh no, I'll make it work, Tav, I'll make it work. And, Tavis being a lot more experienced than me in business at the time.
Go on then, buddy.
Learn your mistakes.
Like the true business mentor that he was to me, he let me go and he gave me advice. He gave me the right advice.
Let you fall.
He gave me the perfect advice, but he let me go and fail by myself. And from that day onwards, my network became smaller and tighter instantly.
It's so funny you say that because you're actually giving me PTSD/deja vu because I've had the same conversation.
Tell the exact same story
on more than one occasion, right? Yeah. And it was, I remember sitting there vividly, like saying to my wife, going, "Fuck, I have to go and tell Tavis he was right." And he was.
All of us had that moment.
Yeah.
Have all of us had that moment?
And she goes, "Yeah, he was, wasn't he?" And I went, "Yeah, unfortunately so." And you know what? I've criticised you in the past for being pessimistic. And, the naivety that comes with, the age that we are and business level that we were at the time. Certainly, I think now you look at it, if I was to give that advice to someone else, expect the worst, but hope for the best. Make great shareholder agreements that prepare and protect from that, absolutely. But it's not always going to be smooth sailing.
I think where it comes down to is history repeats itself, but the same lessons, time and time again. I mean, I've got a lot of advice from a guy called Ian Hyman over the years. Ian, you know of Ian. The lessons keep passing down, right? So the trick is to find someone ahead of you that has been at a different level and understands what you're fucking tripping about is, thank you, what you're flipping out about to someone else is such a small issue, and learn and listen and be present. And I always try to be present, and that's the biggest thing. Early on in my business career, I did not give a fuck. Just do the deal, get 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 the deal, deal.
Just transactional.
And I've said this before, but I woke up after a Sunday session in Perth with 250 grand in my bank account. No idea what it was for. Just got paid. More money than I'd ever seen in my life. So,
weekly payroll?
no, supply payments.
Oh, fantastic.
Like more money than I'd ever seen, ever. And there's been, but what I learned is everything that you are dealing with in business, someone else has already dealt with. And the question is to go source out that network. And as I said, the knowledge between the four of us here is huge. And we go backwards and forwards, we talk, we listen, we understand. Sometimes we don't understand the problem, but we can also apply maybe a similar lesson that we learned from a similar situation.
I think acknowledging that you've got a problem, that's probably the biggest thing. That's half the battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because otherwise you just put your head in the sand and go, no, you'll be right. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'll get through it.
If we don't know it, someone that we know will know, right? And I think that's the value that comes with time.
And people listening to us, this is a Christmas special. Yes, we're drinking. Yes, we're smoking.
I mean, you're drinking.
You're drinking.
Listen, I didn't.
We're drinking water.
We have a vineyard as a sponsor today. We need to try some of their product.
You should try it. Tav, you sent me something the other day, and I think who was it? I wrote it down because just in case we wanted to bring it up today as well. But about business, hardship and learning the hard way. And look, mentors are great, and dealing with someone that's got way more experience than you is fantastic. Having you, especially in my career, has been brilliant. But you sent me something the other day, and I think it was Cody Sanchez that said it.
Oh, good old Cody.
And I've written it down, and it says, "You're not in the game until you've sat with your head in your hands, dead in the night, alone, unsure of what to do next. Now you're in the game." And Tav sent that to me, and I was sitting there, no matter how many lessons Tavis gave me, I still had to learn the hard way. And like I said, embracing the chaos that ensues when you go into business, that is the chaos that people need to be prepared for.
But they're not.
I mean, look, majority are probably not, but that is the level. And I'm sure we've all been in that position.
I think we all look at stuff that maybe people in the teams that we work with, etc., do, or even businesses that we're consulting to. Yeah, we've been there, we've done that, we know what's about to happen, as we said before, right? And until you actually do it yourself, you can tell people till you're blue in the face, this is important, think about that, worry about this, have you got that covered? Unless they feel the hardship that comes with the negative implications of it, they're not going to worry about it as much. And that's an unfortunate human characteristic.
Yeah.
You have to teach people.
Yeah.
They have to learn themselves. You can't teach them that.
Biggest thing that I have to learn, still to this day, is when I'm dealing with internal stuff at TRS, and let's say I'm dealing with a whatever, like big, I have to sometimes come out of that frame of mind.
Very nice.
Because the feedback in my company is I come across a little bit aggressive sometimes, and I'm like, what?
No, not you.
Yeah,
Who?
apparently.
Overbearing.
Overbearing?
Loud.
Looming
You
at
rung-
6'7"?
You rung me 6 times. I'm like, you said there was a problem.
I've sent my man round.
Yeah.
I'm here with a shovel.
Like,
I've got the tape.
you know, like, yeah, it's not because you're trying to be this. I mean, I'm not a micromanager in the business. I am with trainees.
Yeah, you need to be with trainees. They need guidance, don't they?
Yeah, they need
That's the
guidance. But
difference.
once you have that trust in me, you have that. Like,
You don't hire somebody that's very senior and then micromanage them, because that totally defeats the point.
Recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster. Absolutely.
I think the other thing's really interesting, and having consulted to a lot of companies now and seen a lot of companies through different growth stages, is that the hardest part, and maybe something for yourself as you continue to grow and develop, is when the hard part for people in early stages, it's really easy because you do it all. So you're across everything, you know everything. When do you actually start to let go and delegate? And how do you go from that 10 to 20 person bump? Getting over that 20 employee bump is the hardest thing for most companies. There's so many I see that go up and down. Having someone tell you how to do that or when to do that, and self-awareness about what to do in that scenario, I think that's a bit of a superpower as well.
I think that's also a really scary thing as well for any business. Even going from being on your own to taking on somebody to shadow you or to, walk alongside you. Like that's we've got a fly invading the podcast. But that's a really scary thing, But that's why you need. He's only just arrived, the fly. But it is a scary concept. Like for me, I realise now that you can never actually find somebody that's going to be 100%.
no.
You can find somebody that's 65,
But that's
70%.
And they'll never care as much as you.
They'll never care as much as you, right? Unless you give them equity and then you really bring them in, and that's a totally different subject. That's a different podcast. But, what you've really got to try is get somebody that's got the core, the kernel of what you really want to achieve, and you can see their future. You can see that they're going to be a good operator. And then you can get them up to maybe 85%, 90%. The fly's after you now. But that's what you need, But I think that's one thing that I've learned, that I'm never going to get a clone. 2 of us in the world would be really bad.
Yes.
But you have to get somebody that's pretty close and then train them to be almost as good. Yeah, exactly.
I think even deeper than that, you need to structure your business around. No one's ever going to be as invested in your business as you are, or the consultancy work you do. You're never going to be as invested as someone who's just there on a salary.
No.
But you talk about companies that 20 limit, and one of my clients I've worked with, they've gone from 20 employees to 140. Took them 5 years, but she is a pumping business now.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
That's massive growth. 5 years.
huge. They're buying out neighbours just to get the building. They need to spend. Good problems to have. I also think as our businesses grow, so does your management style. And you talk about when to let go. I remember when Rachel came on with me and I didn't want to let go of payroll or super or things like that. Now I don't want anything to do with it. But you as an individual need to acknowledge that you don't have all the skill set today, and this is why your network is so important. But also, if you don't have the skill or the network, you need to learn where to go find it. Now, whether that's YouTube or whatever. You're dying to say something, Try.
Oh, I just
Come on,
Here it is.
this topic you were literally telling me yesterday. You were repeating my words to me.
Well, I've got to learn it from somewhere.
Yeah, well, I learned it from somewhere too, and I'm sure this is going to be cut somehow and taken out of context completely because
Fake
it is
news. Fake news.
Yeah, it is tongue in cheek.
Just stay on the good side of James, mate.
Yeah,
You'll be right.
but it's to do with delegating. It's to do with delegating. It's to do with getting good people around you, and obviously you need a great team first. Like this, what I'm about to say, caveat: you need fantastic people around you. You need structure. But one of my business mentors and one of my father's business mentors from back in the day, he's passed away now. He used to say to me, and I heard him say all the time, get stressed out, need to get this done, need to finish this, something's urgent. And he would actually say, stop, take a breath. I know you want to work now, but the feeling will pass. And now, obviously, it's not about not doing work. It's about letting your capable people around you get it done. Do not get in their way. Our job is to hire the best people to solve the hardest problems in our businesses. Yeah. If we can't trust them to do it, that's a bigger issue. But yeah, take a breath. The feeling will pass. But what it means is to delegate and to actually have that trust in your people. And look, I mean, I'm in a very fortunate position where I've built a team around me. It is scary what we're going to achieve.
Do they need you? That's the question.
No, and
that's the good thing, right?
This is the whole thing. Like,
do they need you?
No joke. And we were doing something the other day, and I'll share this, and then I'll stop talking. But
please don't.
But
people are here to listen.
We had this crazy idea, and the idea is not the point, but the idea was, CEO for the day at Interlink, letting one of the interns take over the business.
Can I come and be CEO for the day?
Yeah,
Interlink?
How to create a mutiny.
But what it was, I had one of my senior team leaders in the office actually said to me, she goes, if I win it, I am just going to take a day and go to the beach. And I was like, that's not what I fucking do. But
actually,
her point, this was her point. She goes, she said this to my face in front of a few people too. She goes, you've actually set up the structure so well that the business doesn't need you. And I was sitting there and I thought, wow, okay, that's actually true. And how good is that? And look, I'm in a really fortunate position where I've got people, like our team is like, we are a dangerous army. Like if someone came up, I would hate to be against us, to be fair. I would hate it. But like, when she said that, it really made me think, and I was like, you know what? It's true.
That's good. It's a good response.
But it's taken you a few years to build that team.
Oh, it's taken me 6 years to build that.
Yeah, because I just want to make that point. Like, what is around this table has taken years. Years. Dean was a bit late to the party, like the podcast today. Yeah. But,
never going to live that down.
But in saying that...
This is the last podcast I'm coming on, by the way.
Is this not your first as well?
No, I've done podcasts in the past.
Yeah, but
I'm Instagram famous.
Are you?
No, not at all.
No.
I try all these tags on Instagram are me. It's a bit like you.
Why am I not following
Influencer marketing. I was going to start paying him.
That really did.
He is. He's on there, but
he does have a face for radio.
But like,
Hans
just
modelling.
so our listeners can understand is that, and people watching this, is you need to make sure that you got to be realistic with like, I want to have a $100 million a year business. Okay, wow, I would love a $100 million a year business. Okay, it takes time. I want to be the next unicorn. Yeah, I love the ambition. I love the want. I want the drive. However, you have to understand that you need to build the building blocks. And just because you build the foundation once doesn't mean you have to not go rebuild the foundation again. We're in our fourth change of TRS Resourcing Foundation. To build a network isn't an overnight thing. So starting out as a business, I started TRS off the white desks upstairs there with one iMac. And, understand that you always have these goals to build out, right? And build these big businesses, right? It takes time, but like you need patience. and I've never been known to be a patient person until recently. We're talking about salespeople and, don't rush the process, but also build the network around so you can not, you bring on the right clients. But I also think you need to go through that odyssey of bringing on the wrong clients and deal with that.
Mm-hmm. You have to break. Yeah, you have to go fast and break things. I think
you do need to go fast and break things, because if you don't,
but you got to do it carefully.
But you don't know what's good and what's bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And if
you have to take that blunderbuss approach.
If you don't understand that what a good client looks like, and you start listening to your little voice too much, yes, by all means, trust your gut instinct. But at the end of the day, are you getting a false positive? Is what I'm trying to get at. Is this client bad when I'm feeling it's good, or is this client really good, but I'm getting a weird vibe off it because the meeting's not going well?
Like Tryon said, you have to embrace the chaos, don't you?
Yeah, but you also have to understand what that looks like. Like, people who just start a business, manager, this, that, whatever. I'm just going to do what I did before. I did that for the first 2 years of my first business, and it failed miserably because I didn't have the structures in place. I didn't know what the money was for.
You're missing such a big part of business ownership by continuing to do what you did in a corporate. You'll do really well in bringing and generating revenue, but it won't get delivered. The BAS won't get paid. All the other,
be all over you.
All the other things that come with it.
Yeah.
You won't have a website. All these other little bits and pieces that come with it, right? Like, it's almost a 50-50 running the business and being in the business.
Yeah.
And there's so often that saying of you need to spend less time in the business and just as much time on the business, right?
Yeah.
You probably know, I've been happy as a pig in shit for the last 8 weeks. You know why? Because I just left the company running to Amy and Rachel, and I've just been recruiting. Now, I know that cannot happen moving forward, but I just needed I just went back in and
Short amount of time.
short amount of time. I just
back on the tools. Back on the tools.
Nah, I need to do something. I need to do some me time on this. And built some really great client stuff, but it's what I enjoyed doing.
Busiest you've been in ages, to be fair.
Yeah.
Genuinely, getting calls at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night, walking out of the office, getting back to what you do for a living.
He doesn't call me at all.
Well, take the hint. There's a reason I think...
You're 3 hours behind, buddy.
You're not helping yourself. That'd be the perfect time to call in. When you actually get back to the fundamentals, it helps so much to realise why you did this in the first place. Because otherwise you'll sit there and go, I'm running a business and I feel like I'm spending all my time running a business. But why? Why'd you actually do it? You can run any kind of business. You can go run a hairdressing salon. Maybe not you, but the rest of us.
Do you know what? I reckon Dean would be the best hairdressing salon owner. So the beef, true story, right?
Honestly,
the best beef producer in Australia.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to be a hairdresser.
The best beef producer in Australia, the best steaks is vegan.
There you go.
Sorry?
The best producer of steaks in Australia, beef in Australia, like the top rated chefs, want his stuff, is vegan.
Tragic.
So his motto was, well, I'm vegan, but I'm going to become a cattle producer and just produce the best beef in Australia.
Just doesn't know how good it is.
Doesn't know how good it is. That's why he needs a network of people around him.
I reckon Dean would be the perfect hairdresser. But that's what I'm getting at.
Look, I think what we're saying about the business, and I mentioned this to you yesterday, right? We're going to go a little bit longer.
No, we are. We just want to check we've
the
got
next.
everything.
The next.
Yeah, we've got everything locked and
There's everything's locked. But the one thing we're talking about run the business, going half leather, and doing this, getting the network set up, and all that's brilliant. And I mentioned it yesterday. And the one thing that I realised after coming out of the corporate world was...
What are we doing?
Coming out of the corporate world was that, it was 100 mile an hour, huge pressures, sales, drive, don't stop. And when you set your own business up, that's the first thing you want to do. But the one thing I realised after I set the business up was I had to stop and go, how much is enough, right? And what's important to me, right? So, and that fuels my journey through my business, right? So, I've got clients, and I've got brilliant clients, and I've got a lovely trajectory, and I've got new business, and that's all wonderful. But I'm not killing myself, absolutely killing myself to expand and scale and go crazy, because for me, enough is enough.
That's the decision you made.
You have to know, it regardless, you could be running a $10 million business, a $100 million business, but you have to realize at some point that enough is enough, right? So
where's the trade-off from
where's the trade-off? Yeah, exactly, right? Because as soon as it starts to really affect your life and your family and the people around you, and you start to change as a person because you're just stressed and worried about everything that's going on, and all you've got is the business, then you need to start making a change. And that's one sort of word of advice I'd give to somebody that's setting the business up. Yeah, you need to embrace chaos, right? You need to bring on clients. You need to keep the lights on, as it were. But after you get through that stage and you get to a position where you're making the money and you've got sustainability in the business, you have to go out and, what my son says, go out and touch grass, right? Because you have to come away from the screen. You have to come away from the business and say, why did I set the business up? What have I tried to achieve? Have I achieved it? Am I doing well? Can I acknowledge it?
It's purpose.
Yeah, it's purpose, right? Without purpose, men die on the vine, right? Every man needs purpose. Without purpose, we're screwed.
Just buy a Mustang.
What's your North Star? What's your reason for your why? All right.
Oh, my why
wants another motorbike.
No, my why is my family. That's it, right? My family and my friends, right? That is absolutely sacrosanct, right? And for me, that's the North Pole, right? So as long as the family is sorted, the mortgage is paid, the investments are paid. I haven't got any money worries, right? That's the first thing I need to get sorted out. After that, it's okay. So what can I give back? Am I enriching my community? Am I enriching my friends? Am I spending enough time with my friends? Am I inviting them to lunches? But I'm surprised it didn't jump on me there. But you need that sort of indication in your life that what you're doing and why you set shit up, you're actually taking part in life. Because otherwise you end up in a situation where you're just running 100 mile an hour, and there is such thing as burnout. And business owners will burn out much faster than somebody in a corporate.
No, we're fine.
100 miles an hour to where?
Yeah.
To where? What's your destination?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, in that situation where you're running 100 mile an hour, you move the goalpost. And I'm guaranteeing that somebody's going to probably jump in a minute, but you move the goalpost, regardless how successful you are, regardless how big your business is, you will move that goalpost, and you will not be satisfied.
But you have to.
Yeah, you do.
Dangerous
if you're crazy and you don't actually realize where you are and what you've achieved, you have to take stock of where you are, realize what's important to you, and then you can reset. Because if you don't do that, then you'll burn.
But this is the difference between where you're at in your life when you started your business,
and
exactly. Knowing everything that you've done, and your end goal was a mixture of flexibility and doing good work and everything else that came with it.
Exactly.
Whereas, you inherited a fantastic business but wanted to go 1,000,000 miles an hour forward. What was that journey like?
Yeah,
I'll add to something when he's finished.
Yeah, and just when it comes to purpose as well, my North Star is my family too. I think that's probably
has to be.
Yeah, for me, it's about providing for my family, and taking on the business when I did. I can tell you that I feel more fulfilled today providing for my family than I ever have in my whole life, and I think that is probably what keeps me going. It's what I was telling my girlfriend a couple of months ago. She's got a business too now, and there's challenges when you first start a business, and getting up in the morning and just getting up and doing stupid hours and then getting up again with no sleep. I quite literally feel like I've got strings attached to me, like I'm a puppet, and I get lifted, and not in a bad way. I'm using this in a positive sense. I actually just get lifted out of bed by my purpose. Like I sit there and I'm in bed, I'm having a shit morning, I'm tired as hell, and I sit there and I go, I'm getting up. This needs to happen. And I get up and make shit happen every day because of it. I guess
purpose.
It is purpose. Maybe, and I guess we I've probably touched on this with a couple of people in the past. Like I am probably the worst at taking stock. I'm not good at it. Nothing's good enough for me. Even when I achieve the goals I achieve, I still sit. Hey,
just trying the product.
Give it a crack.
Sorry to interrupt you here.
No. Go, please. But even when I do achieve my goals, and I told Dean this as well, which was, you know, we've had a 30% growth target. We did 38%. And I'm sitting there knowing we could have done 50, knowing we could have done it, and we didn't do it. And why did I set it at 30 when I know we could have achieved this? And look, maybe, definitely something I can work on. But again, I feel like as someone that runs a business and a business owner and all of us here today, I feel like we will all potentially get to that point and know that we had a little bit left in the tank. You know, knowing that you have that little bit more in the tank. Why didn't you do it? Why don't you do it?
But I
think having that North Star, and not North Star, not purpose as like, you know, family, but that North Star going, what is the end goal? I think that is what continues to drive us there, because, you know, having an annual target is probably not the right thing to do. I think having that North Star, what are we trying to achieve? What is our actual mission in business? That's probably going to be the most important thing.
Goals are great every day, but that truth, that purpose, everything else, that's
what
every
are we
day.
here for?
That gets you up every day. You know?
I'll add something to you, and I couldn't agree more. You try and had a very, out of all of us on the table here, you probably had a unique issue. When you took over Interlink, the whole company was used to going in a particular direction and be managed in a particular way. You came in and went, okay, that's the way we've done things previously. We're now going to
out the door. It was literally the sorry.
you kind of went, okay, we're gonna pivot. You know, people don't like change. Okay, and the thing that you had to deal with, none of us have had to deal with here, is taking over a legacy business that was doing well, but always had potential to do better. And your struggles with that. You know, you're not struggle, but like you knew...
Struggle is an understatement. Struggle is an understatement.
And that's why I think our listeners would probably want to know more about that struggle, because...
Oh, woe is me, I inherited a business. Will I be okay?
But it comes with its own set of challenges.
Look,
but it's also pressure, right?
Look,
it's a legacy business, and you
what happens if you fucked it up?
Yeah,
exactly. No, and you know, when I
was going fine this way, but you
there were a particular set of circumstances which thrust me into the position to take over the company. My father's parents weren't, my father's mother, so my grandmother wasn't actually very well at the time. He gave me, the CEO had left the week before. Lou, my father, was meant to take over the business. Friday the CEO left. My father was meant to take over as of Monday. Everyone that used to report to the CEO now reports to the old managing director. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday went. I got a call at 10 a.m. on the Thursday morning. And I think my father, having a CEO for 5 or 6 years, obviously was not, I think he got used to not fielding certain queries. And he
got sick of it in 4 days.
This is the story. This is actually the story. And he called me at 10 a.m. on Thursday morning. And I remember this so vividly. And my cousin who I used to work with is sitting on the other side of my glass office.
The cubicle.
Yeah, and I was sitting there on the phone, and I mean, what she didn't hear on the phone was, "That's it, I've had enough, I can't do it, it's yours, send an email, you're in charge now." And then it was click, and I thought, okay, I'm going to give him a few minutes to cool down, I'll call him back. Anyway, called him back, he was adamant on it, he had his own personal issues at the time, being my grandmother who was sick, and yeah, basically got thrust into the position. And
how old are you then? How old are you at that time?
I was 28. Yeah, I was 28.
And how many staff is that taken over?
Oh, I think it might have
30,
been 20. No, 25, 26.
You've been in the business for ages.
Yeah, I know, but it's still a lot of pressure and responsibility.
Let's say these 25, 26 staff, maybe 18 of them were there longer than 10 years.
Correct.
So
with that mindset of going that direction.
Yeah, and look, and my father is a great businessman. Like I look up to him so much. I ask him for advice. You know,
whenever he speaks, I shut the fuck up.
Yeah, look, he is a phenomenal businessman. However, our styles are worlds apart. He managed hard. He
old school manager.
Control.
Yep.
He just loved seeing everything that was going on. And for me, I knew where I wanted to go. I was not able to manage that way, you know, and that's fine with 20, 30, 40 staff. But, you know, the journey that I'm on is not to be where Interlink has always been. My journey, and I know, is to take Interlink to a different level. National. I mean, look, we already work nationally, but you know what I mean? Like to really, take what we do and the essence of what we do for our clients and take it to another level. Knowing that, I knew that empowerment was the way that I was going to get it. I mean, and you need to remember, I've got managers in the business at this time. 28-year-old Tryon is sitting there. All of my managers are in their 50s. What the hell am I going to teach them? What the hell am I going to teach them? What can I possibly teach someone in their 60s that's done it for 40 years? What am I going to teach them? Think about that.
Not about the business, but you can certainly teach them a way in which to go about
of course.
Old dogs, new tricks, etc.
Look, and the ideology of changing the business.
Can I stop you there?
Yeah.
Did you lose
You're going to.
Did you lose anybody?
Absolutely. Yeah. But hang on.
Yeah.
This
is important.
The answer of yes, of losing people, it wasn't people that I wanted. Because what I did, I started rolling out my ideology, and I had people going, that's not the way we've done it. And I was sitting there going, we're doing it from now on. And, you know, I got a couple of questions, and I don't want to put anyone on blast at all, but I got a question. We'd always done something this specific way, and it was, you know, we're talking about, you know, quite a menial thing. You know, it was $100 expense or whatever it might have been. And someone came to my office and said, oh, look, we've always, you know, this is how we've always done it. What should we do?
Most
and I was looking at it.
in the world.
I remember looking at them thinking, well, we'll do it the same way for now until I decide to change it. Why would we change it? Like I've been running the business for 48 hours. like why are we changing it?
I've been in the seat for 5 minutes.
Yeah. So look, I mean, to answer the question, yes, the people that left were not a fit. You have to remember some of these people I grew up with. Yeah. So like, and
it had to happen.
It was
the changing of the guard, isn't it?
Look, a testament to Lucy Roberts, my co-director. You know, growing up, I mean, she was there at the hospital when I was born.
Yeah.
And now she reports to me. I mean, then I reported to her again on the board, and then, you know, it's layers. But realistically, for her, like winning her was my number one goal. You know, she is an unbelievable human being, unbelievable broker, and realistically, all I wanted was to earn my stripes with her. And over time, we did it, and we have a phenomenal relationship as well. It took a lot of time, and it was effort, and it was blood, sweat, tears. And I remember the only thing that I used to get told, especially when I was going through hardship, and you know, people exiting and me having to find new people and whatever it meant, you know, the people that weren't aligned, I still needed to replace these people, right? And it was a good thing they left on their own accord, some of them. But I used to get told, like, and obviously, look, I'm not saying Interlink is this huge empire. Like at the time, it was, you know, 20-something man business. But, you know, it takes time to turn the Titanic. Like, you got a big boat, it takes time to turn.
Or sink it.
Well, all that. Yeah. Well, I didn't do that.
Yeah, you didn't do that.
I didn't do that.
But it was without a common thread or goal or behaviour, it was going to be difficult to put your vision into place. So people had to leave.
Yeah.
Sad.
You're always going to fall out.
You
required.
Yeah. Which brings me, I think, to a nice new point. How do you, even in your corporate days, in your consultancy days, how do you take stock of high achievers, you know, mavericks in your business? Because they're people that you need, but at the same time as well, they might not be the most
malleable.
They might be a little bit abrasive. And like, you've obviously been highly successful in moving Interlink from even though it had interstate clients at the time, from mainly a WA focused business to now a nationally focused business. You've got high achievers in your business. How do you manage that?
How do I manage the high achievers? I mean, look, first and foremost, people are everything when it comes to a business. Like, you know, if you know, being in Dean's shoes, obviously you are the one that gets to move the dial. Whereas for me, I mean, I could go out and do sales for the business, and I don't move the dial 100%. Like, it's impossible to move the dial. We have to rely on these people we have to rely on our team, and we need a good team around us. And it comes back to the same thing. Like, number one, you need to look after everyone that's on your team. Wins need to be celebrated.
What does that look like for you?
Well, and wins need to be celebrated across the board.
Egos.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, sometimes egos need to be stroked.
Yeah.
And you've got high performers. They've got egos.
And I'm going to ask you the same question.
All of us here today.
We all got egos.
We've got egos.
They all
the
need
highest
to be
performers have egos.
Yeah.
That's who we are. And at the end of the day, like, we know we're good at what we do.
Yeah.
All of us here today, we know we are good at what we do. Okay, yeah, we may present it in a different fashion in different scenarios, but we know we're good. All of us here today are going to have tickets on ourselves at some level.
Yeah.
And so do high performers. So do high performers that are a part of our team.
And most high performers are insecure as well.
Yeah,
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are.
you can't.
Massively insecure.
The thing about this is if you alienate these people for your own gratification, right, or your own control or power, particularly as you're coming into a business, it's a death spiral for your business, right?
It is, yeah.
Ultimately, what you need to do is you need to be aware of where you sit and where they sit, because they've got their own opinions on what you're doing. Everyone's got their own opinions, but really, who cares about the one that's not performing? Because if they decide to leave and they don't like your leadership style, well, that's okay. But I think, you've got to bring a committee to this discussion. People want to be heard. If I'm sitting here and I've got you three in a room and you're my three big performers, I'm going to say, hey, guys, I want your inputs on this.
Good luck. Good luck
managing us three.
It's very simple. There's bottles of wine here, boys, and there's cigars. No, but my approach is going to be very, very simplistic. It's, guys, what do you think about this? What would you do differently? How would you go about this? Because I think if you're worried, like, if it's all about you, you are fallible. We make mistakes, right? Taking people on a journey when they're part of that journey is so much easier than when people think that they're being dragged along.
Yeah.
So my approach to that has always been, and my last business, we went from 5 to 25 million in a quick period of time.
How did you manage that? Because you had a spectacular odyssey. Like, I saw you go from here to here in a very short amount of time.
It's all about the people, right? So, I brought a few of my own people in, which helped. But it was conducive to culture. We had great buy-in from leadership, knowing where we wanted to get to. We had a very clear end goal, which was a liquidity and sale event of the business. And ultimately, I went about cutting the low-hanging fruit, realizing who wasn't going to be there in 2 to 3 years' time, showing them with empathy and with trust and understanding that, hey, this is the direction we're going. I know that that's probably not who you want to be, but I want to give you the chance to make it. Right?
Empowerment.
And then also going out and you're immediately leveling up your vision, your dream, your goals. People are engaged by that. They want to be part of people that are winning. They want to be part of groups that are trying to do something different. So if you don't have your mission, your values, your who, what, why, where, when, why, all that stuff down pat, who's actually going to want to come on that journey? And your job and my job in that role was to get people to go from here to here, and then to figure out how to bring more people in to make us go to there, which ultimately was very successful. But it's all about taking people on the journey, full transparency, full buy-in from them, and actually not telling them things, asking them things, and delivering shit news, which we all have to give, with a very clear, empathetic understanding. Hey, look, we've had some discussions. This is the way that we're going to go. I know that you were thinking we should go this way because we've talked about it. There's no surprises in there, right? Like, the worst thing that can happen and someone gets really their nose out of shape is when, I haven't heard of anything in 6 weeks and suddenly you tell me we're doing something completely different. Communication is your best friend. People want to be treated like adults. It's not that hard, particularly big billers.
I get that. Dan, what have you got to add? You've had some epically massive corporate teams. And the thing is, you've done that corporate thing.
I've done the corporate thing. So... yeah, it's nearly 30 years in the corporate space.
Your LinkedIn profile photo would suggest you still do a corporate.
Well, it's
I think you should change it
ago.
to the Christmas shirt.
I should change it
Right now.
Yeah, right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Let's take it on.
Cigar in hand.
Bottle of water in the other.
Look, I think for me, the corporate world is a little bit false.
Tell me more.
Okay, I will. I just think that when you're in that corporate space, I think everything is with rose-tinted glasses. You don't really experience the real world of what it actually means to run a business. For example, right, when I first started in business, I'll tell you, I haven't got many failings, but this is one of them. So when I first started out as an insurance broker, before I got there, I was a commercial underwriter, right?
Really?
I was good. I was very good.
Why were you good?
I was very good. I don't know why I'm whispering, but
Because it's too loud normally.
exactly.
This is important.
For all these ASMR listeners out there, this is Dean coming live. No, anyway, but what I was doing is I was a commercial underwriter, and I had a captive audience, right? So when you're talking about the UK, much bigger addressable market, about 40% of people insure. So you're dealing with hundreds of inquiries a week, right? So me and my boss, John Price, at the time, he's dead now, bless him, passed on, but absolutely fantastic boss. But the one thing that I realized was I wasn't as good as I thought I was, right? I had this false sense of, I thought I was a brilliant salesperson. Absolutely brilliant. I am now, obviously. Because I had a few knockbacks. But at the time I was a commercial underwriter and I had a captive audience. I had brokers come to me in that sort of SME space up to 10 million sterling, right? GDP for all you Aussies. And basically I had these just inquiries coming in, right? And we used to have races. Who could assess and underwrite the most cases in a day, right? We used to have races, right? Because it was that much business.
What did you win?
Just bragging rights.
Money.
Commissions.
Usually steak and wine and Eli Jenkins over the road. But what that did for me, right, in that corporate space, before I moved on to my next corporate gig, was I thought I was really good, right? I thought I was a salesperson.
So what you're telling me is you're a big fish in a very small pond.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so you get that with all careers.
You get it all. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Merry Christmas to all. It's been an interesting year this year. I've learnt a lot. We'll go around the table, starting with Josh. What's 2025 look like?
2025 is exciting. I think, 2024 has been a helter-skelter year, a good, bad and ugly, all in the space of a few months for myself. So I think looking at 2025, a couple of new businesses on the way out.
Yep.
Things will be launching in the new year, which I'm really excited about. I expect the market to take a positive turn in our space. I'm really excited about the implications for things like AI, which I spend a lot of time in, data that goes along with that, cybersecurity. And I expect to see the executive market, where I spend most of my time, pick back up. So for me, 2025 is looking absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
Beat that, Dean.
What do you reckon, Don?
Well, I can always follow Josh because he's, he's always laying the groundwork. But for me, I think we're talking about touching grass. I've been doing a lot of that, and I will continue to do that.
What do you mean by touching grass, by the way?
Taking
Getting
stock
outside, away from your computer.
away from your computer,
Is this
taking
why
stock.
never get you on a phone?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's touching grass.
I was outside in your lawn earlier, just
He must
touching
be
grass.
touching grass.
Ooh, this is good
Yeah.
grass. And not the smokable kind, so I don't do that sort of thing. But no, look, for me, I think the world is going to change in the next year. I think.
No.
Oh, it is. Your favorite person is probably going to.
This is
be
a Santa hat. What are you talking about?
It is a
It's going to
Santa hat.
change.
It's a Santa
The
hat.
world is going to change. I think we're in the liquidity cycle where liquidity is going to be increasing. I think things are going to start to improve. It's not going to improve straight away, but it's going to start to improve. But the problem you've got there is there's going to be a false sense of security. People are going to think, oh, it's, everybody's a little bit more affluent and things are easier and blah, blah, blah. So the complacency is going to come in. So I think myself and Trinan are going to be in those cracks to actually fill those risk gaps. And I think we have to stay on message and say, look, don't get complacent. Don't think that the world is getting better, because there's going to be bumps in the road. And I think for me personally, I'm just going to continue what I'm doing, right? Being genuine, getting out, seeing clients, increasing my, my social media presence, which is
It'd be nice.
It'd be nice to be on LinkedIn now and again. But
This will help.
I know this is going to be chopped up and chipped up and spat
I will
out into their mesosphere
James, can we
for a
make
long
sure
time.
That
Dean gets
Bambino-
20 reels.
Here's 20 reels. Leave in.
He won't know how to post
Invite him
them.
to follow
Yeah.
his
It'll be good.
Instagram.
He can
I know.
Repost.
Yeah, somebody will have to
Repost.
ring me from an old school landline and go, Dean, you do realise you're going viral. What does viral mean?
You'll find out.
It doesn't mean being late.
Oh,
And look, I wasn't late. I was fashionably arriving.
you dirty on him?
Yeah, I know. It's not very nice, is it? It started off as brotherly, and now it's getting confrontational.
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood.
Yeah.
But look, I think we continue to do what we do. I don't think any of the core principles is going to be lost. I think we just continue doing what we're doing. I think we're all on the right path, all of us, and everybody around us and our networks. And I think if we stay true to ourselves, stay genuine, I think we'll all do well. And that's a message to everybody else as well. You know, just stay goddamn genuine. Don't be rushed. Don't be rushed. Don't be false. Try and help people. Give more than you get back, and you'll always be successful. That is it.
I like that. Try. Same question.
2024 was a year of hard knocks and lessons and all
it's
types of
horriblous.
stuff. Personally, I think touching on something that Josh mentioned before in terms of strategy and bringing people on board was actually one of my weaknesses in the past 6 years that I did not address. I ended up going around the room in February with my senior leaders. There was 13 of us, and I identified that I'd actually not shared my vision of where I wanted my business to go.
Wow.
And look, the reception.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, the reception. Well, this is the strategy that I sent you the other day.
Yeah, I got the strategy, but I didn't realize this is the background story to it.
And quite interesting, and I'm sorry, I was going to jump in before, but we'll end on this anyway with me. It's a good closing note for 2025.
2024 into 2025.
Going into 2025, I ended up sharing my vision with all of my senior leaders. I think 2 or 3 of them were aware of what was going on, and the reception of it was fantastic. It went around the room and everyone had their opinion on it, and it was amazing.
Was it a positive experience?
Positive, very positive.
Was anyone negative about it?
Yes.
Interesting.
I'll get there. But anyway, it basically went around the room and it was, what an amazing goal. This is going to create so much opportunity. What an exciting time to be a part of this. And basically, one of the answers that I got, the negative one was, don't you think that is grandiose?
Oh, self-limiting.
Look, and look, I think someone that doesn't have that growth mindset doesn't fit into our business, and they're no longer at Interlink today, which is fine. Like, there's actually nothing wrong with that. If they don't believe in it, jump off the train, and that's okay. But I guess the experience that I had going through this and actually locking in this strategy, I'll share one more thing. One of my top sales guys, I actually didn't share it with him. And it kind of broke my heart because he was sitting right next to me on my left, and he was the last person to answer the question. And he looked at me and he go, these were his words, "Why didn't you tell me?" And no, but he was actually disappointed not to know what it was. And my only, do you know what my answer was? Look, what I'm trying to achieve, it is a large pill to swallow. It is actually it is this big, and I didn't know. Or my strategy in terms of deploying my ultimate strategy was just feed people enough at a time to have motivation to keep going forward. Whereas now what I've done, I've put all of my cards on the table.
Fire in the belly.
Hairy audacious.
Fire in the belly.
It's actually called our big, hairy, audacious goal. That is actually what it's called. And, now we've locked in a strategy. I've actually only presented it to all of our staff about a month ago, and the take-up has been phenomenal. So, I finished at review time, and it was only, a few weeks ago, someone actually said to me, they go, "What an exciting time to be a part of this. I can't believe it. I can feel the energy. People are on board." And, another thing that you mentioned before about being, finding people that are on board as much as you are. Let me tell you, the people that at Interlink today are, they might not be 100%, and they're not going to put in 80 to 100 hours a week, whatever it might be. But let me tell you, they are working so hard, and I remember, I cannot thank them enough. But what it does, it creates such an exciting environment for what we're doing, and people are really excited for the future. And I think, the only thing that really moves the dial in a business is raw action. And I've got 40 plus people now. I think we're going to have 50 by February, whatever it might be. I think 50 people all pushing in the same direction. And that's going
to be a fast boat.
Honestly, I know 2025 is going to be magic for us, whether it is good or bad in terms of I guess an economic sense. But again, I think Trump's going to print 7.5 trillion.
Bring it on.
Yeah. And look, you're right. Global liquidity is going to expand quite a bit.
It's liquidity cycles.
It's definitely going to kick the can down the road in terms of us operating. But seriously, it is going to be a very exciting time for us. I am taking all of the lessons I learnt. I have taken stock in a way, not in the way that you were mentioning, but 2025 is going to be very exciting and fast-paced for us.
But you need to take stock, mate, because it's going to be a very big year, 2025, and you need to touch grass.
And you know what? That's going to be one of my goals. Dean has inspired me.
Well, I'll take you up to touch grass.
Do you know what I think we should do?
We should all go up and
be
touch grass.
appreciative for what we have.
No. I've got a much... Let's go touch some grass at Christos Valley Estate.
We can do that.
We'll go out and see the sponsors.
The next Christmas special.
Yeah, Christos Valley.
Yeah.
I want to touch vines, not grass. I want to touch grapes.
That could be done.
Yeah. All right.
And I'll finish this off. For me, 2025 is going to be huge. Sovereign capacity is finally kicking off in Australia around defence. Obviously, we mainly supply people that stick steel together, and it is going to be an epically big year next year. Not that the last 2 years haven't been bad, but I think we're going to get to a point where finally I feel that I'm a big fan for building stuff in Australia. It's something that the government's trying to do at the moment. We've got a federal election. How's that going to go? I don't know. Depends on which news outlet you watch. But what I see next year is confidence returning to a lot of the client base, your clients, because, and I guess this brings it back to our network, and I'll finish on this point where people are actually coming to us for credible advice. I don't know what to do here. Dean, what are you seeing in the market at the moment? What's going on here? What's going on there? Josh, what's going on with this executive market? What's going on with these company? What's going on? Tryon, what are you seeing in insurance at the moment? Are we actually able to get policies placed at the moment? We've got a project coming on at the moment. We thought the project was going to be X and it's now 10X. Or it's going to be a point where I think moving forward, the people that are going to really succeed in this market are people that are not necessarily on price, but on the service that they offer, and also the trust that you bring to the situation. That's what I think 2025 is going to be all about.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, on that.
Just very quickly, sorry, I have one last question. I have one last question. It's just for you. Neither of you need to be involved in this discussion. For about 3 years, I've heard that this is the year that TRS goes to Sydney. Is 2025 the year that TRS finally makes the move to the best city, in the best state, in the best country in the world?
I've been banging on. When did you said you were going to do TRS Executive? And I saw something come the other day, and it said TRS Executive on it.
Yeah, it's done.
You did it.
It's done.
Congratulations.
So what happened was
he's doing what he's saying.
TRS Executive was always going to be its standalone brand. I've now bought TRS Executive under the Resourcing brand, just the sheer presence and branding of it is. Me moving to Sydney is 100% on the cards. I just keep getting Melbourne in the way, but in the way TRS wouldn't there wouldn't be TRS if it wasn't for Melbourne. So at the moment, I feel very torn, but I will be going to Sydney.
That is, the cricket's on at the moment, and that was a fantastic pull shot. That was not even close to answering the question. That was not a definitive.
I love the way you just snip that in. When are you actually going to finally come good on your promises? You're moving to Sydney.
Everyone's holding out for me to come to Sydney. I have a whole
Never
network
die.
up there. I have a whole group.
You sick of coming to Melbourne?
Every day. Best part of this city is the airport.
I love Melbourne.
But it's weird. I'm on
Melbourne.
first name basis at cafes up there and bars and art galleries.
Yeah.
Yes,
Art galleries?
It's true.
The Museum of Contemporary Art. You mean Canvas?
All the
and
good stuff is in
museum.
here. It's
all
upstairs.
the good
Culture's
stuff's
man.
upstairs.
It is.
Anyway,
It's
to
a
the point.
fancy restaurant in the Museum of
I
Contemporary
apologise. I
Art.
had to ask the
suppose, as far as you
question.
get.
No.
Please
I-
continue with your finalisation.
No. But
This
that's
is
good.
why I hang out with you guys. So, thank you all for doing this. This is something I've wanted to do for a very long time. At one stage, I didn't know if it was going to actually happen with everyone's very hectic schedules. But we
Herding
got there.
cats. Herding cats.
Yeah, we were herding a lot of cats. But yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I hope our listeners have as well. And guys, thank you. Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.